Hi friends, welcome to this session, and today we'll do directions, right? So you would find one or two questions every year based on direction concept. The good thing about this is there are only very few concepts which are here, right? So it's very easy to master the questions based on the concept of directions. So without wasting any time, let's go to what constitute concept of directions, right? So you all know this chart, right? If we have, this is what is basic direction chart. So if this is a north direction, the bottom one is south, this would be west. So if I am standing facing north, on my left there would be west, on my right there would be east, and accordingly it's northeast, southeast, southwest and northwest, right? The another important thing is left and right, right? So if for example I am standing facing north, right, so I would denote this by arrow, right? If I am facing north, the arrow would point like this. If I am facing south, the arrow would point like this. If I am facing east, the arrow would point like this. If I am facing west, the arrow would point like this, right? So let's assume that this is the case, that I am facing north. So when I say I move to my right, what does this mean? This means that I was facing north, then I moved to my right. So on my right there would be east, right? So I took a east direction like this. When I say I move to my left, I move to my left is I move towards west, right? So when I am facing north, on my right there is east, on my left there is north. Now let's see what happens when I face east, right? So let's assume that I was facing east, right? Now when I am facing east in this direction, on my left would be what? On my left, right? This would be my left, it would be north. On my right it would be south, right? So direction changes, my left and right would change according to where I am standing or which direction I am facing. So this is another important concept which you would find in questions, so you have to keep this in mind, right? So the best way out to understand this concept is to solve questions based on this. So let's go to first question, which says a man walks 6 kilometers east to the east, right? So east and west would always be emphasized by the diagram above, and then turns 2 kilometers south, right? So 6 kilometers east is like this, right? So let's call it 6, right? Then 2 kilometers south, something like this, and again he turns to east and walks 2 kilometers. So this was 2, then he walks to east and again went 2 kilometers, then he turns towards northwards and traveled 8 kilometers. So he traveled 8 kilometers. How far is he from the starting position? So another important concept here is the Pythagoras theorem, right? So this is very handy. Now if you join this, we have to find this distance, right? So this distance is what? This distance would be, if we join this, it would become a right angle triangle, right? This would become 6 plus 2, 8, and this would become 8 minus 2, 6. So 8, 6. So the triplet is 8, 6, 10. So this has to be 10. So you have to remember few Pythagorean triplets, for example 3, 4, 5, right? 13, 12 and 5 is another one which you have to remember. So there are few triplets which you should keep in mind, and it would be very easy to solve these kind of questions, right? Here the question talks in terms of east and west only, but you would see that there would be questions which talks in terms of east, left and right as well, and then you have to use the concept which we discussed above. So in this question there are it talks about the things which are left and right. So let's see how to do this. Ravi starts walking towards north, right? So he starts walking towards north. Let's see. So from the starting position he starts walking towards north. So let's say this is the starting position. He starts walking towards north. After walking 30 meters, so this is 30 to begin with, he walked 30. So after walking 30 meters he turns to left. So left, because he was walking in this direction, let's put a arrow in this. He turned left. So he was facing north, so his left would be this, right? He turned left and walked 40 kilometers. So this is 40. Right? So this was his direction of moving. He then turned left and walked 30 kilometers. Now when he is facing west and walking, what would be on his left? He was walking, his face was in this direction, right? So imagine yourself walking in this direction. Where would be your left? It would be downwards, right? So it would be here. So he walked 30 kilometers again in this direction, and he turned left and walked 50 kilometers, right? So while he was coming down, imagine yourself going down, what would be, where would be your left, right? So you can just rotate your sheet, right, and see where would be your left. So if you are walking like this, your left would be towards the east direction, right? So you walked this. So it was 40 and again another 10, right? So this is 10, this is 40. How far is he from the original position? So original position was this, final position was this. So he is 10 meters away from the original position. You have to keep in mind the concept of left and right here as well. Only then you would be able to solve this question. So let's go to next question, which says, so this is very different from what we have done in the previous two examples, but nevertheless it's an interesting thing. A, B, C, D are playing cards. A and B are partners. Partners are always facing each other, right? If D is facing north, right? So A and B are partners, C and D are partners, right? D is facing north. So this is the direction of D. C would be facing south, right? So C is facing south. If A is facing west, right? So A is facing west. Who is facing south? So even without knowing A is facing west, we could have said C is facing south. So this again is a very simple question, but you have to understand the concept of directions before solving this. Now let's go to next question, which says, going 50 meters to the south of his house. So south is downwards, 50 meters south of her house, this direction. So when she is going this way, where would be her left? It would be in the east direction, right? So she turned left and went 20 meters. So this was 50, this was 20, right? Then turning to the north, she goes 30. So here she went 30. This is not the figure up to the scale, right? So here 30 is shown smaller than 20. And then walking towards her house. So her house is in this direction. In which direction is she walking? So this is going up, which is north. This is going west, so she is moving in northwest direction, right? So here we need not calculate what is the distance, but if we have to calculate what would be the distance, so this is 20, 30 she has already covered. What is left is 20 here, so this thing becomes 20, right? So 20 here, 20 here, so this would become 20 root 2. So she has to cover 20 root 2 in northwest direction, right? Let's go to next question, which says, so Ramya walks northwest for 5 kilometers, right? So northwest is, if this is north, this is west, right? So she walks northwest 5 kilometers, so this is 5. Then she walks 3 kilometers east, right? So it's given 3 kilometers east, so this is 3 kilometers east and is just above the starting point, right? So she is just above the starting point. So if this is the starting point, she is just above this starting point, which means she is now north of the starting point, right? So now this becomes a Pythagorean triplet, 3 4 5. So this is 4, right? Where she starts moving 7 kilometers north. Now here, from here she starts moving 7 kilometer north, right? How far is she from the original position? She is 7 plus 4, which is 11 kilometers from the original position. So just try make charts like this with the arrows so that you understand the direction of movement and you would be able to solve these kind of questions, right? So the last question which we would do in this set is slightly different. It's based on statements, and this kind of question is also very likely for our CSAT exam. Let's understand how to solve these statements. So it says there are 6 cities A, B, C, D, E, F. Their positions with respect to each other are according to the following clues. So there are few clues given. C is to the south of F but west of D. F is to the south of E but east of D, and so on, right? So if you look closely, you would see that there are 2 directions which it talk about. One is the bottom to down trend, and then one is east to west or left to right trend, right? So let's arrange first these cities according to bottom to down trend. So C is south of F, right? South of F means down, 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 right? So the best way out is to construct a table. So let's start with C and F. So C is south of F, F is south of E, right? A is south of B. Now there is no relationship between A and B till now, but if we read the next statement, it says E is south of A. So A is above E and B is south of A is south of B, right? So A is below B. And finally the last statement says D is south of F. Now A is also south of F and D is also south of F. So the possibility can be D here, right? So D is south of F, or it can be D here and C here, right? So there are 2 cases. One is C and D. Let's write the another one. It would be B, A, E, F, D and C. So both of these cases are possible. Now let's go to another set of statements which would help us find the left right order, right? So it says C is south of F but west of D. West of D means that C is to the left of D, right? So before writing the final order, we'll just write C is to the left of D, right? What it then says is F is south of E and E is east of D. So E is east of D. E is here, right? Then it says A is south of B, which is west of F. So B is west of F. We don't know about its relationship between C, D, E right now, so let's leave it. Let's not do it right now. Then it says E is south of A and A is west of C. So A is west of C. So A is somewhere here. So A is here and C would be here, right? And finally D is south of F, which is west of A. So F is west of A. So it has to be FAC, right? What is left is B. B is west of F. So B is west of F. B is here. So this becomes B, F, A, C, D and E, right? So this is left right order of these 6 cities. Now we have to arrange the cities such that both these orders are maintained. Obviously we would get 2 groups of orders, right? So B obviously is on the top as well as on the left, right? Left corner, right? And then there would be A, right, which is on the second row. So A has to be here, and A is where? A is third from B, so we would put A here. Then comes E. E is on the third row, but and E is on the last column as well, so E comes here. Then F. F is second from B, so F comes here. Then D. D is here, and then finally C. C is here. So this is one set. The another set would be similar, only the positions of C and D would be changed. It would be B here, A here, then F here, sorry, E here. E was on the third, right? So E here, F here, it would be C here, and finally D here. So this would be the two possible positions of A, B, C, D and E and F. So you can very well see that F is towards southeast of B, or we can say B is towards northwest of F, right? A is towards northeast of F. So in this way we can find the directions of all the cities vis-a-vis another, right? So this way we would be able to answer any question which is related to this set, right? I hope that you understand how to use directions. The major concept is north, south, east, west. The another major concept is to understand left and right according to the direction in which we are traveling. So according to the direction in which we are traveling is most important. Rest all depends on how you practice questions based on this concept, right? So this is all for our direction concept. I hope that you understand and enjoyed the concept, and you would be able to solve the questions very easily. Thanks for watching this video, and all the best.